I'm going to do that again because I forgot to put the microphone on. So, such is life. We're going to start in about 10 minutes. So, sit tight for a second. For those of you who are watching this after the fact, make sure that you fast forward to where we're live so that if you want to add any comments or chat live, you have to be with us live. You can't be watching the playback. So, go ahead and fast forward. If you miss these stretches, it's not a big deal. You can always go back to them later. But if you want to ask me a question in the middle of class, you have to make sure that you're live with us at the live point. Otherwise, your comments, I won't see them until after the video's over. Okay? All right, guys, sit tight. We'll start right at 9 o'clock. Okay? Bye-bye. Good morning, friends. How are you? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday morning, and oh my gosh, it's like the most beautiful day. I rolled over this morning, and the birds are singing, and I had the windows open, and the sun was coming up. It is a gorgeous day out. I'm super excited about today, and I don't even know why, because it's just another Thursday in my house. I'm sure it is for you guys too. I just have a couple quick things to announce to you before we start class. Number one, I realized yesterday when I was teaching class that if you send me a message in the comments, but you're not actually watching live, like if you're actually like watching a few minutes delayed, or like, you came up later, so you start from the beginning, then I can't see your comments. So I will have my phone close by. If you do leave a comment, I should be able to see it on my phone. But also, if you want to interact with me live, just fast forward. If you miss a few stretches, it's not a big deal. You can always go back and do them later, right? But it's more exciting to actually be on live, right? The other thing is that I want to make sure that you guys are all getting the notifications and the videos for Life Renovations. We started Life Renovations this week, which is an online course on YouTube for free about how to live your best life, to find purpose, to find joy in this time that is like pretty unsteady, but we also have a lot of time to do some big soul searching. So that's why I felt like it was really important to have this class up. So make sure that you click this little button in the corner. Suri's here. Told you she'd be here. Click that little button in the corner to subscribe, and then there's a little bell icon next to it, and if you click that bell icon, you'll get notifications also. That way it'll just like come up to your phone, or you'll get an email, or I think you can decide how to do that, like which one to do, and it'll just say like, hey, there's a new video for Life Renovations. Now, Life Renovations is cool. It's a 5-part series. The first part is the lesson. You should always watch that. The second part is the guided journaling. That's probably also super important. And then you also have meditation, diet challenges, and of course stretching. Now, of course, I'm going to say stretching is the most important. That's, to me, super, super, super important, because we hold a lot of fears and limitations in our body, and stretching will help you get those out, okay? Regardless of what kind of journaling you do or what kind of lesson you do, like stretching is going to help you. Sorry, you're going to have to move, buddy. Come here. Thanks. And then the meditation and the diet challenges can be something that you choose to do or choose not to do. You can kind of pick them in modules. I also have updated my YouTube channels. There are tons of playlists, so you can very easily go and find videos stretch by stretch. Like if you were doing something in class and you're like, I really want to learn, actually like learn how to do that stretch, then go to those stretch by stretch playlists and see if you can find the video. If you can't find it, just send me a note and I'll tell you which one it is, because I know what they are. And then there's also a problem solving playlist, and Life Renovations has playlists by week. Okay? All right. That's good stuff. I'm delaying a little bit because I want some more people to show up. Down below in the description also, there's a link for my PayPal account if you feel inclined to contribute to the channel. I am putting all of these classes up for free because I feel like it's important right now for the message to get out to the world about how to take care of your body and also how to take care of your mind in this time. So I don't expect anybody to pay for anything, but if you do have residual income or little extra stuff, residual is probably not the right word. You know what I mean. Extra money right now, and you want to contribute a little bit, feel free to contribute to Stretch Chi, because it keeps us moving in a really good way. All right? Okay, my friends, let's get into some stretching. Sorry, what did you find? I think there's a bird outside. There must be. Well, then, speaking of birds, let's stretch our arms. Let's stretch out our wings a little bit. Why don't we do some bicep curls and some tricep curls? I don't think we've ever done these before. You're going to take your hand and plant it against the floor. You can turn your palm down or you can have it up. You just kind of decide what feels good to you. And then take your other hand and push down on your wrist so that you're like shoving your hand into the floor, but your arm is trying to do a bicep curl and pull it this way. Okay, so find that resistance. And then you're going to use your bicep to pull your body forward, and then you use your body to pull you back. And you should feel this stretch. in the front of your bicep. Let me show you from this arm too so you can see. So you push this fist down into the ground, put your other hand on top, and try to pull your arm up towards your body. And then when you try to pull your arm up, it'll actually pull your body forward. And then use your lower body to pull you back. You should feel this here. If you feel it in the back, you might need to do a little bit more resistance up this way. Or you may need to stretch your tricep. And to stretch the tricep, you're going to push down with your palm or your fist into the floor. And by pushing down, you pull your body forward. And then you sit back. And that should go into the back of your arm, right through here. You can adjust it as you need to get the stretch in the right place. You do as many of these as you want. And you can switch back and forth between triceps and biceps. It's the same motion and they look the same, but the difference is that when I stretch my triceps, I'm pushing down. And when I stretch my biceps, I'm pulling up. So I'm pulling up against my other hand, and that stretches the bicep. Okay, good. And you can do the other side as well. So pull up for bicep, push down for tricep, and you can do either one. So maybe bicep first. Just a couple like this, just to get them warmed up. And then we can go into tricep by pushing down and doing the same motion, but this time pushing your arm into the floor. All right, good job. Now we're going to stretch out the back of our shoulders. So bring your hands together and put your thumbs right over the crown of your head. And then you're going to squeeze your elbows like you're trying to pop a balloon between your arms. And you just open and close. This stretches out your rotator cuff in the back of your shoulder. Both sides, hopefully. If you feel this at all in the front, you can stop doing this stretch. Or if you feel it on the side, you can stop doing it. Because you want to make sure that you stay out of pain, right? If any of you guys have never done resistance stretching before, there are a couple rules to follow. The first rule is that you move all the time. So notice that I'm not holding this stretch, but I'm actually opening and closing constantly. Second rule is that you resist all the time. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to open my arms up. I'm trying to pull them apart. I'm also fighting gravity, which is also resistance. And when you do this, you should feel the stretch in the back of your shoulders, like right here. If you don't feel that, it means that you have a block somewhere, so you have to remove the block. And so we'll go through and do some different stretches to see if we can open some things up in some different ways, okay? All right, I just want to check something really quick, and then we'll keep moving. All right. Okay, the next stretch we're going to do is for the front of your shoulders. You're going to bring your hands down to the floor, tuck your toes, come up to straight legs, push with your hands into the mat, and then pull your body up. You're going to use your feet to lift up onto your toes, and then use your arms to push you down to your heels. You can push your head through if it feels good, and then go back and forth. Up for strength, and down for a stretch. This is a calf stretch, but you can also get a good shoulder stretch if you don't let your heels come all the way down, but you just push your arms through. You just go back and forth. We did a ton of these yesterday. Oh, hi. Hi, Mama. We did a ton of these yesterday. It was fantastic. So if you missed yesterday's class, it's a good one. That would have been April Fool's Day, April 1st. So feel free to go back to it. We did a ton of like front opening stretches, heart opening. It was really lovely. So that's a good one to go back to and check out if you want to do some extra stretching on a different day, or maybe on a day that I'm not doing a video, or if you miss one. All right, okay. Let's go into a stretch for our lats next. So I want you to find a seat. You can sit however you want, whether you're in like cross-legged position or whether you're on your knees, or even sitting just flat. Sometimes people like to sit like this, whatever feels good to you, okay? Then take your right arm and tuck it up behind your shoulder blades. So I'm not really putting too much stress on my triceps here. I'm just letting my arm fall where it feels comfortable. Now, if that means that your hand's over your head, that's okay. You just do what feels good, okay? Grab your elbow with your left hand, and you're gonna try to pull both arms apart. That engages your lats here. So as you're trying to pull your arms apart, you're gonna use your left hand to pull you forward and down. It's like a diagonal stretch to the left, like over your left knee, and then you come up for strength. So there's resistance between your arms the whole time you're trying to pull them apart. But when your left arm wins, it pulls your body over, and you should feel the stretch from like here down, and then up for your strength training. Now, if you feel anything on the top of your shoulder, just switch sides. We're going to do some other things so we can come back and visit these later. So up for strength and down for stretch. Up for strength and down for stretch. Now, any of you guys who are on right now, feel free to say hi. I'd love to know who you are and what you're doing. Also, feel free to ask me if you have any anything specific you want to work on, like if you have any aches or pains that are bugging you, or if you come to my class regularly and you have a suggestion or a request for a specific stretch, let me know and I'll do that too. But say hi. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel connected to people. Otherwise, it's just the cats, I'm telling you. They're cute. They're lovely. But they're not humans as much as they try to be. All right, now let's go the other way. So bring your left arm up and just rest it behind your shoulder blades. Grab your elbow with your other hand and try to pull both arms apart. So as you do that, you're going to resist and engage these muscles on the side of your body on the left, and then use your right arm to pull you down over your right knee. And then you use your left arm to pull you back up. So this is a stretch from your armpit down. If you feel anything different, skip this stretch and we'll come back to it later. So down for stretch, up for strength. You can do as many as you want, but I would say somewhere in between 6 and 8. Like that number is usually pretty good for these, especially because we're going to go back and do them again. So just as many as you want, okay? Hi, baby girl. What stretch do you think we should do? Sorry. Oh, that one? Yeah, laying down is not a stretch. Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one. Yeah, good job. When stretch class isn't happening, she just sits on this mat and yells at me. She just sits on it and she's like, why aren't you here? Why aren't you stretching? And I'm like, because I'm cooking. Okay. So the next stretch we're going to do is for the top of your shoulders. So you're going to bring your right arm into the side, grab your wrist with your left hand, and try to pull both arms apart. So you're pulling straight out to the side. It's almost like if you were in between two walls and you wanted to push your arm up. It wouldn't come forward. It wouldn't go backwards. It would be straight out to the right. But then bend your elbow so that you have a lever to hold on to. And that's where you're going to pull from. So as you push up, you're pushing all the way to the right, and then you pull down toward your waist. As you do that, you can also tilt your head over to the left, and that's going to stretch out the top of your shoulder and your neck. You feel it right through here. Up for strength and down for stretch. Your tail, sorry. So much. She's so happy when stretching happens. Gotcha. Yeah, you interrupt class because you're so cute. If you guys ever come to my early morning class at the studio at 7:30 in the morning and I'm ever like running into class because I'm late, it's most likely because she's this cute. Like she's doing this stuff and it makes me late for everything. When she was a baby, I used to have to take Ubers to work all the time because I just couldn't handle it. She was so cute. All right, when you're ready, let's take the other side. So bring your left arm in, grab your wrist with your right hand, push straight out to the left this time, and then use your arm to pull you down. So I'm using my right arm to pull me down. My head's gonna go over to the right this time. And that stretches out your neck here, the top of your shoulder on the right, on the left side. Up for strength and down for stretch and your head to the right. You can kind of do a little nod too to get a little bit of a stretch, extra stretch in there. You just go up for strength, then down for stretch. Now this week in Life Renovations is all about awareness. So during these stretches, I want you guys to be really aware of what you're feeling in your physical body. So for every stretch, take a second and feel, what does this stretch feel like? Okay, I feel it here. And then as you come down again, see if you can find it in a different space. Okay, I feel it here. And you can kind of play around with it that way, but be very aware of your body. Be aware of the feeling of how it feels alive. You know, like you can feel the tingling in your fingers. It's all kinds of stuff. You know, since you guys are on YouTube, you know all about the YouTube things. Eckhart Tolle put out a really great video yesterday about how to deal with fear and, you know, things we're dealing with right now. And he just put it live yesterday, so you might want to check it out. He talks a lot about how to meditate by paying attention to the aliveness in your hands, like feeling the energy in your hands. And like if you close your eyes or if you don't look at your hand, how do you know that your hand's still there? And it's mainly because you can still feel the energy, right? So if you can feel the energy in both hands, like if you're paying attention to it right now, you can probably feel like the tingling in your hands, especially because we've been working a lot on our arms, so you probably have a lot of blood going in there, right? So if you feel that tingling, you can feel how alive they feel, right? So all through class, you can start to think about how each muscle feels alive or how it doesn't. And if you have a stretch that doesn't quite have that alive feeling in the muscles, then it means there's a block somewhere. So we can find those blocks, we can pull them out. So let's go back to our rotator cuff stretch and see if we can get some life in these muscles in your rotator cuffs. This is the back of your shoulders, maybe even behind your shoulder blades. So bring your hands up over your head and squeeze your elbows together and see if you can feel the muscles in the back of your arms. See if you can feel your shoulder blades opening and closing. Pay attention to how your body feels. If it doesn't feel good, move in smaller ranges of motion, maybe just this far. Maybe it's enough to just be aware. Maybe it's enough to just hold your arms up. Or maybe if the stretch doesn't feel good, it's enough to just relax and feel the back of your shoulders. Put some awareness there without even stretching. That would be okay too. So you just open and close. Now we're going to move back into our downward dog stretch. Now this stretch can be done in a couple of different ways. One way would be on a chair, where you put your arms on a chair and bow down. Another way that I like is to just be in like a cat-cow pose, kind of like on all fours. Go into your cat pose with your back pretty strong and use your arms to push you back, bring your head through, and you'll feel the front of your shoulders. And then use your arms to pull you back up. So you're actually pulling this way with your arms. And as you pull there and bring your head through, you should feel the front of your shoulders. If you want to come onto all fours, you can go into the downward dog stretch. This one's going to feel a little bit more like a push with your arms. And you can come down onto your heels, bring your head through. You might feel your shoulders here. You might feel your calves a lot. But pay attention to how that feels too. Where do you feel that life force moving through your body? Is it in your chest? Is it in your hands? Is it in your feet? Do you feel it in the front of your body? Do you feel it in the back of your body? Just take note and pay attention to where you feel the most alive. It's pretty cool, actually. Whew. All right, we're going to move back into our lat stretch. So you can sit however you want on your knees and crisscross applesauce. That's what the kids call it. You can also sit with your legs open like this. I'm going to go ahead like this today because I like the way this one feels. I've got my right leg tucked in, and I'm going to take my right arm up towards the ceiling and then grab my elbow with the other hand. Now I'm going to pull with my left arm towards my left foot, and that will pull my body over my straight leg. And then I'm going to come up for strength. And you just go back and forth. Over for stretch and up for strength. Now remember, you're going to resist the whole time. So you are trying to pull your arms apart no matter where you are in this stretch. And pay attention to where you feel this one. Where is it? What does your body feel like? See if you can wake that part of your body up. Should be here. On the right side. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So tuck your left leg in, your right leg out to the side, or you can sit cross-legged, or you can sit on your knees, or you can sit in a chair. You can do whatever feels good to you. Bring your left arm up and grab your elbow with your right hand. You're going to push up with your left arm and then pull across to the right over your right leg or over your right knee or just forward and to the right, whatever it means to you, depending on how you're sitting. And you just go back and forth. Up for strength and over for your stretch. And notice where you feel alive in this stretch. You should feel it from your left side all the way down from your armpit to your hip or anywhere in between. If this doesn't feel good, then you're in the wrong stretch. You're doing the wrong thing, and you can let this one go for today. But if it does feel good, go for it. Do as many as you want. Your body will tell you when to stop. And in any direction that feels good. So if you want to look down towards the floor, if that feels better, you can do that. If you want to look straight ahead towards your TV or your camera, you can do that too. Whatever feels good to you, okay? Oh, that's so good. Okay, now let's work on the top of your shoulders. So bring your right arm in, grab your elbow with your left hand, push straight up to the side and push down for your stretch. When you get to the bottom, bring your head to the opposite side. And you can just nod your head a little bit to see if you can find a deeper stretch. And you just go back and forth, up and down. And take note, where do you feel this one? See if you can bring some life into that area of your body. So you can feel it kind of buzzing. See if you can feel the blood moving through it. See if you can feel your nerves come alive. Open for strength. And down for stretch. And your head to this side. It should almost feel like if you were coloring, you know, if it was like your body and you were like coloring it in, you should try to feel like you're coloring all around. So you want to try to get this whole area colored in with energy. So up for strength and down for stretch. That can go all the way into your fingers too. Can you fill that all up? It's kind of cool. Up for strength. And down for stretch. All right, now let's do the other side. So bring your other arm in, that would be your left hand. Grab your wrist with your right hand, and you're going to resist like you're pulling both arms apart. Push up for strength and down for your stretch. Keep resisting the whole time. Bring your head to the right this time. And then back up for strength and down for stretch. And again, be really aware of what you feel. See if you can color in the top of your neck and your shoulder with energy. Put some life in there. See if you can feel alive this morning. You can wiggle your fingers. You can nod your head to see if you can get a little bit more coverage of the stretch. Oh, that's lovely. I swear, I'm happy you guys are here, but I do these classes for me too. Because I mean, it's really weird to be home all the time. I live in the city and I walk a ton. Like, it is not uncommon for me to get like all 10,000 steps in just commuting around town, right? And like, I think last week I walked less than 10,000 steps the entire week. Like, I'm just not getting the movement in that I'm used to. And it's so funny how my body is responding. I mean, even like when I work with clients, I'm very physical with clients, and not doing that kind of strength training, like, it's kind of like my muscles are like, what are you doing? You're so lazy. Knock it off. It's pretty funny. All right, so let's go into some leg stretches. I think today let's do, there's so many options. Let's see. Let's go for a central hamstring. So go ahead and lay on your back. You're going to grab the ball of your foot with both hands. If you can't reach this, use a strap or a rope. A towel works really well. Or you can grab your calf behind right here and just kick down your hands into your calf and pull up like this. But if that's really hard for you, just go ahead and grab a strap. For the rest of you who can reach, go ahead and grab your foot here, kick down for strength so that you're engaging the back of your leg here, and then you're going to pull up for your stretch. So kick down for strength and up for stretch. And you just go back and forth. So you're going to feel this stretch along the back of your leg here. So kick down for strength and up for stretch. We're aiming for like 6 or so. And as you do this stretch, you want to feel that light up along the back of your leg here, right down the middle of your hamstring. If you don't feel that, it's okay. Just skip it because we'll return to this one later. Don't you worry. Oh, don't you worry. Down for strength and up for stretch. And we're going to do one more down for strength and continue resisting as you pull up for your stretch. And then we'll switch sides. So bring your left leg up and grab the ball of your foot with both hands. Kick down for strength, engaging the hamstring behind, and use your arms to pull you up. And again, you should feel this in the back of your hamstring right here. So down for strength and up for stretch. And you want to make sure that this really feels good right here along the back. If you feel it pinching in the front, then go ahead and skip this one because you need to do your hip flexor stretch instead. We're going to do that next. So down for strength and up for stretch. And you guys don't forget that you are always welcome to chime in on the chat if you have any questions about any of these stretches. That's why we're doing this class live, so that you can check in. So be sure, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. And if you're watching this on your TV and you don't have the chat option, then go ahead and log in also on your phone so that you have that chat availability too. You can totally do that. It's all right. All right, so now your hip flexors. I got you. She weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Okay. So for your hip flexors, bring your right leg to the front and your left leg behind, and you're going to try to scissor your legs in. Let's see. Oh. So you're going to try to scissor your legs together. Your front leg is going to pull towards your body, and your back leg is going to pull up. Okay? So you're trying to resist in both directions. Your front leg pulls you forward, and as you're pulling with your front leg, lean back a little bit. See if you can find the stretch in the back of your left leg. And then pull back for strength and forward for stretch. Back for strength and forward for stretch. And you want to find this stretch right in the front of your hip flexor here. If you feel it on the outside, like here going down your leg, if you feel it in your quad way here, then you've got a problem. And we can fix that problem, but you just need to skip this stretch. Okay, so just go back and forth. If this really bothers your knee, you can put some padding under your knee, but it could also be that you have an issue with your glutes. So we'll work through that, okay? So if it doesn't feel good, just skip it, no worries. Back for strength and forward for stretch. And after this one, we'll switch to the next stretch. So bring your right leg behind and your left leg in the front, and you're gonna resist like you're trying to pull both legs together. Front leg's pulling back leg's kicking forward. And you use your front leg to pull you into the stretch so that you feel the stretch in the back of your right hip. It's on the back of your right hip. It's in your right leg. So you should actually feel it right here. So as you go into the stretch, as I'm leaning forward, I feel it right here on the inner part of my hip, like your hip bone's right here. So if your hip bone's here and like your pubic bone is right here, it's right in between in that spot. And so you come back for strength and you pull forward for stretch. It should be on the inside of your hip bone, coming down into the very top part of your femur. But if it comes down further into your quad, then you need to do a different stretch. If you feel it on the outside of your leg, down your knee, you need to do a different stretch, okay? So that means you can stop It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you have a little bit of a neuromuscular miswiring, and we can fix that. It's not hard. But doing the stretch is just going to be kind of a waste of energy for you, and actually it could cause you an injury. So you need to be careful about that to make sure that you're not injuring yourself. So back for strength and forward for stretch. And now we're going to go into a stretch for your inner thighs. You can lay on your back. We call this one the splits in the air. You're going to bring your legs up so that your femurs here are perpendicular to the floor. If your hamstrings are tight, you can bend your knees, but this stretch is done pretty well if your legs are straight. So either way is fine. Take your hands and turn them so your palms are facing out, and grab your knees. Squeeze your legs together, and then use your arms to open you into a wide split, and then squeeze your legs back in. So as you come open here, this is your stretch. And as you pull in, this is strength training. My arms are fighting. And when my arms win on the way out, I get that stretch in my inner thighs. My legs are going to squeeze in. My arms are going to slow them down. And then as you open up, your legs are still trying to stay closed, but your arms are winning. You feel the stretch here. If you feel anything different, or if you don't feel it at all, you can stop and skip the stretch, and we'll return later. I like this one. Sometimes it's my nemesis. Lately, it's been pretty good. In for strength and open for stretch. Next, we're going to switch to a stretch for our glutes. Now, the past couple of days, we've been doing a lot of figure 4 type stretches. So we're going to do this a little different today. Lay on your side. We call these Jane Fondas. I don't know what Jane Fonda would think about that. You guys remember her? She did the workout videos in the 80s. She's been in a couple of movies recently too, but her workout videos are really famous for having these these leg lift kind of things. So we're going to do those. Bring your knees up in front of you so that it's almost like you're in a fetal position. Now my feet are forward in front of my mat so that my hips are 90 degrees and my knees are also 90 degrees. So if you see me from the side, it looks like this. In class, I always see people like this on the floor. But I don't want you to have this like wide angle here. I want you to actually pull your knees up and your feet forward, okay? So that you're almost like you're sitting in a chair, okay? Now, this is my right leg on top. So I'm going to take my right hand here and put it over top, all right? So push your hand down towards the floor and then use your leg to push open. You're going to push all the way up towards the ceiling. So I'm going to fight that with my right hand just a little. It doesn't have to be a lot of resistance. Then I'm going to keep pushing my leg up towards the ceiling as I push with my arm and I just shove it down. If you feel like you can't hold your resistance, then come back up, okay? So you just go as far as you feel like you can still resist. If you can go all the way down, that's okay too, but don't rest. Spring it back up. Think of it like there's a spring connecting your knee to the ceiling, and that's always trying to stay up and your arm is winning to push it down. You should start to feel a good burn in your glute right here in your butt, right? Up for strength and down for stretch. And you just go back and forth. Whew, it burns. We want to go for about 6 or so, or as many as your body wants to do. If you feel this cramping on your other leg, like on the bottom here, then you just need to flip over and do that side. Or if you feel anything else, you can just skip the stretch and we'll come back to it later. All right, now flip over. And again, you want to find this angle so that your hips are bent in the front and your knees are bent at 90 degrees, like you're sitting in a chair. So if you were looking down, it would look like this, okay? All right. So this is my left leg on top. This is my left arm. I'm going to push up towards the ceiling. I'm pretending like there's a spring connecting my leg to the ceiling, or to the wall really high up actually, because it's kind of an arc up. Then I'm going to take my left arm and push it down. And then I'm going to push back up. And then I'm going to use my arm to push down. And you just go back and forth just like that. So up for strength and down for stretch. And you should feel your glute starting to really scream at you, and let it scream because it's okay. It's not a bad thing if you feel it right here. okay? You shouldn't feel your hip flexors in the front. You shouldn't feel your inner thighs here. You shouldn't feel the other side. If you do, just go ahead and skip that, and you can return to it later. So up for strength, whew, and down for stretch. The burn just started, like big time. I'm gonna do one more just cause. Oh, glutes. Whew. I'll tell you guys, it's how we keep these buns of steel around here. It's important. Sometimes we don't really think about how important glute activation is, but you actually need your glutes to activate every time you take a step, because those muscles stop you from letting your knee collapse in every time you walk, every time you take a step. So if you really want good knee health, that's the stretch for it. If you're having IT band pain or anything like, feeling knee instability, do that stretch, get it activated. It's super, super important. Okay, now that we've done that series of stretches, we're going to go back and do them again and see if we can find the aliveness in every single muscle group, okay? So lay on your back. We're going back for central hamstrings. So grab the ball of your foot with both hands or with a towel or a rope or something. Kick down for strength and pull up for stretch. And take mental note of what you feel and see if you can paint that picture of the muscle. It should be right along the back of your leg here. This time I actually feel it go all the way from my hip up through into my calves too. See if you can paint that picture. Pay attention to where your body feels the most alive in this stretch. Whew, so good. Down for strength and up for stretch. Let's do one more. Do your hamstrings feel alive? Mine do. Right, my hamstrings are alive. Okay, now grab the ball of your foot with both hands, kick down for strength, and continue kicking down while you pull up for your stretch. And again, see what you can find in there. Can you find the aliveness of that muscle? Can you paint it from the bottom all the way up? Does it go all the way into your calf too? It's good if it does. Doesn't have to, but see what you can find. See what you can explore. Does the stretch change if you change the angle of your foot? Like if you let it open up a little bit. If you point your toe, what does it feel like? You can change it around, right? You can do whatever you want because it's up to you. And your body will tell you what it wants if you listen to it. How do you paint that stretch a little bit bigger into the hamstring? Down for strength and up for stretch. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Oh, down for strength and up for stretch. Oh, one more. Kick down for strength and pull up for your stretch. See if you can find that stretch. Feel alive through the whole thing. And then we'll go to our hip flexors. So come up into a lunge. Whew. All right. I have my right leg in the front, left leg behind. You're going to scissor both legs in. So you're trying to pull your right leg back. At the same time, you try to pull your right leg forward. So it's almost like if they were going to switch sides. You were going to go to here, right? So see if you can find that activation. And then use your front leg to pull you into the stretch. Your back leg still gives some resistance and fights. And see if you can find it. So good. And then pull back for strength. Forward for stretch. Find that stretch. See if you can make it bigger. See if you can make it better. Don't make it worse, okay? Don't try to suffer through any sort of pain. Just work in the place where it feels really beautiful to you, even if it's just moving a little bit. And like I said before, with that other stretch where we did this one in the back, and I was like, if it doesn't feel good to you, what if you just bring some awareness to that muscle? So even if you're just, if this stretch isn't for you and you're just sitting there waiting, can you put your awareness right in the front of your hip, just right here. And see if you can find that, like a little bit of tingly feeling, a little bit of warmth. See if you can find some life there. That's okay. I mean, you don't always have to stretch. You can just see what feels good. So you just be aware of your body. That's the one step too. Before you know it, you'll be doing these stretches. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's do the other side. So bring your left leg to the front and your right leg behind, and you're going to scissor both legs. So your front leg's going to try to pull back, and your back leg's going to try to pull forward. Use your front leg to pull you into the stretch. You'll feel this in your right hip flexor, right in the front of your hip. And then pull back for strength. And find the aliveness in that muscle. See if you can really feel it working. It should feel like you're just like wringing it out, like you're wringing out a towel. You could twist if it feels good. You can lean back if it feels good. You can kind of wiggle around. You can play with your arms and see how that feels. If you're up, if you're down, what does it feel like if you move your arms around? See if you can paint this stretch a little bigger. See if you can get it to come up into your abdomen a little bit. Right? It's a good stretch. All right, let's do one more. Find that stretch. And again, if the stretch doesn't feel good, just find the awareness in your hip flexor without even stretching. It's totally fine. All right, now we're going to move into our inner thigh stretch. So you lay on your back again. We're going to do the splits in the air. I'm going to drink some water first. You might want to do that too. Water's good for you. All right. Lay on your back. Bring your legs up towards the ceiling and grab your knees on the inside. Squeeze your legs together for strength and open up for your stretch. So squeeze in for strength and open for stretch. Use your arms to win. Your legs are going to fight in. Now my legs are winning, and then my arms are going to win on the way open. And see if you can find this stretch to the inner thighs. See if you can find that. Feel like that. There should be some shakiness to it. See if you can find the trembling in this stretch. That's normal. See if you can find the stretch. See if you can paint that stretch a little bit bigger. Only if it feels good though. What could you do? Sometimes flexing your feet makes it different. Sometimes rolling your feet makes it different. Sometimes turning in a little bit pigeon-toed will change the stretch. That's usually pretty intense for me. Sometimes turning out changes the stretch. That might give you a little more hamstring. But you want to play around with it a little bit and see what feels the best to you. Oh, good. Nice work, my friends. All right, and flip over. Now we're going to go back into our hip raises. So you can lay on your side. Bring your knees up, hips at 90 degrees, your knees also at 90 degrees. And we're going to get into these glutes again, okay? So you're going to push your right hand into your right knee and then lift up for strength and push down for stretch. Take it slow. It's enough resistance that you feel like there's a fight, but there shouldn't be a lot of strain, right? It should just feel pretty smooth. Shouldn't feel like a ton of effort, but enough effort that you feel like something's happening. You should feel like your leg is resisting just enough that your arm can comfortably push it down, but not very easily. And then where do you feel this stretch? Do you feel the life in your glutes? What happens if you reach your foot forward at the same time, very slowly, like you're trying to give someone in front of you a foot high five? High five. Can you feel that a little more? That would give me a cramp in my other leg. Well, who knew? It's just, it's my left leg yelling at me. My turn. It's like, stretch me. Okay, I hear you. Listen to your body. It tells you what it wants. All right, now your left leg is on top, and this is your left arm. And you're going to push up for strength, and then use your arm to push you back down. Up for strength, and down for stretch. And you should feel this in your glutes again. Pay attention. See if you can feel the life in your glutes. See if you can feel that like warmth, the burn, the tingly feeling. See if it's anywhere else. What else do you feel in your body? See what happens if you give a foot high five. Oh, what does that feel like? Should make the stretch a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe one more like that. Oh, boy, it's a nice one. Okay, friends. We're going to move into some other stretches for the back of our shoulders. Let's see. I have an idea. Okay, so there's one stretch that I do a lot. It's for the back of your shoulders. It looks like this. You may know this one already. I'll teach it to you quick, and then I'm going to show you a different option. And you can try it, or you don't have to. You can just stay with the one that I'm going to show you. Okay, so bring your right arm up and grab your elbow with your left hand and try to resist like you're pulling both arms apart. It's sort of like if you were pushing the weight machine out like this to strengthen the muscles in your back. Okay, but we're going to do one arm at a time. So your right arm's up, grab your elbow with your left hand, try to pull both arms apart, push open to the right, and then pull across to the left. And you just go back and forth. So you open for strength, and you close it up for your stretch. And you should feel this in the back of your shoulder right here. It's okay to just move in small ranges of motion, especially if you're really tight here. You want to make sure that you're not twisting your torso, so you're not turning your body like this, because that locks your shoulder in place. You can see as I do this, I'm not actually stretching my shoulder, the whole thing's moving. So when I lock my torso in place, so that my shoulders are staying right over my hips, I can pull, and I'm moving my shoulder joint, okay? So, if you can do this easily, and you want a more intense stretch, then let's try this one. So take that same arm, your right arm up, and you're gonna take your left arm and scoop it underneath. Now at this point, both palms are facing out, okay? Now take your left arm and bring it all the way in so that your nose and your thumb touch. So it looks like this. It's kind of like I'm trying to play the trumpet, like da-da-da-da, with my nose. So you bring your left arm in, touch your nose with your thumb, then take your right arm and bring the back of your hands closer to each other so that you can grab your thumb with the pinky and fourth finger of your left hand. Okay? So I'll help you get into this again. Your right arm comes up, your left arm scoops underneath, both palms are out. Then bring your left hand in so that your thumb touches your nose. Take your right arm and bring it around so that your left hand can grab your thumb. Your palms are still facing out the whole time, okay? So if this is impossible for you, then go back to this one, all right? If this is good, then try to pull your arms apart. That's gonna activate the same muscles we were just using. Lift your fingers up towards the ceiling and then pull them back down so your elbows come down. And you're just gonna go up and down. So from the side, it looks like this. I'm stretching out my right shoulder. Up for strength and down for stretch. I guess it's kind of either way. Maybe it's down as strength and up as stretch. I don't think it even matters. It's kind of like just a stretch all around. It's just always stretching. All right, and then we'll do the other side. So you can go back to your left arm here and your right arm on the outside and try to resist by pulling both arms apart. Push open for strength and then close for your stretch. And you just go back and forth. Open for strength and close for stretch. And if you want to try the harder version of the stretch, then take your left arm up. Your right arm will scoop underneath, palms out. Bring your right thumb to touch your nose. Take your left hand and bring the back of your hand towards your other hand so that you can grab your right thumb with your left hand. No. So you can grab your left thumb with your right hand. Sorry about that. So let's try that one more time. Your left hand comes up, your right hand scoops underneath, palms out. Bring your thumb of your right hand to your nose. Take your left hand and bring it around so that your thumb can grab on, so that you can grab your thumb with your right hand. Sorry, they get all twisted around. All right, the palms are out the whole time. Where people get the most confused about this is they try to twist their hands. Don't twist your hands. Just keep your palms out all the time. All right? From here, try to pull your elbows apart and just go up and down. Can't get into this position. Don't even try it. You'll get there later. It's most likely because the muscles in the front of your shoulders won't fold enough for you to get into this position. So that's not something that you can fix by trying to do the stretch more. So don't try to shove yourself into this stretch. It's not going to work. If you can't comfortably get into this stretch, then you should still be doing this one, okay? One day it'll open up. It won't be tough, I promise. It's tough now, but maybe one day. You never know. Just keep working on it. Our next stretch is for the front of your shoulders, and this one's a push-up. We're going to do reverse push-ups though, and that means that you're going to drop towards the floor, and as you drop towards the floor, you try to stop yourself from hitting the ground. And as you do that, your muscles stretch open like this. So you're going to stretch the front of your shoulders open from your sternum all the way out to like your biceps. Now, the important thing about resistance stretching in all of our stretches is that you're actually training yourself to go into extreme ranges of motion and push out of them. So a push-up is really kind of like an extreme range of motion. It would be like if you fell to the floor, could you stop yourself before you hit the ground and then push back up? If you're not flexible enough, you would just fall down. And what you'll notice in this one is that if you're not flexible enough to get all the way to the floor, then your stomach, your belly will drop down to catch you, okay? So that's like your core muscles are your key to knowing when to stop this stretch, all right? So you're gonna go into a plank position with your elbows wide. I like to do these on my knees. And very slowly drop down as far as you can. When your core is like, nope, then that's when you've gone too far. So you don't actually want to get to the point where you drop your belly down, okay? So find your core strength, and when it feels like it's going to drop, just push yourself back up. So just go that far, or if you feel like you can go farther, then go for it. Let's aim for 5. Oh, I think maybe I can do one more. Whew. I hate those push-ups, but they're so good. I can't find any better way to stretch my arms out. Sometimes on a wall or something, but it's still a push-up. So, you know, keep with it. But the big thing is to make sure that your core stays really stable through the whole thing. And again, if you can't keep your core stable, it has nothing to do with actually your core stability. Your core is pretty strong. It has to do with your flexibility in your pec muscles. Flexibility means that you have the ability to go into an extreme range of motion and push back out. That's key, and that's what a lot of people forget about in flexibility training, especially like, you know, if you do a flexibility class or if you go to even yoga, some yoga classes are like this, where the emphasis is so much on getting really deep into the pose, but there's not a lot of emphasis on how you get out of that pose. So anything that you go into an extreme range of motion, you should be able to get out of. Like for instance, me being in this position, even on my knees, I can get out of it without touching the floor, right? Without my hands. And I can get back into it without using my hands. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be in this position on your knees. Does that make sense? You should be able to get in and out of any extreme range of motion that you can go into. That being said, if you want to do the splits, you'd have to be able to push yourself out of the splits. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see, where were we? Push-ups. Through the back of our shoulders. Let's do the front of our shoulders now. We're going to go into a tabletop position with your hands behind you. Fingers pointing towards your feet if your shoulders feel okay and your wrists feel okay doing that. If they don't feel okay, you can turn your hands the other way, all right? but I like this stretch the best with your fingers pointing in. You can decide how wide you want your hands to be. Maybe, I have mine a little bit further than the width of my body, so they could like sweep back and forth. I want to feel really comfortable wherever I am though. So this is a position where like if I was hanging out with my friends, I could sit in this position and feel comfortable. I'm not in a place where I feel uncomfortable. So find that for you. Find out what that means for you, okay? Then, from here, elbows relatively straight. You're not going to bend your elbows. You're going to curl your shoulders in. So you're going to try to collapse your chest in on itself. And then from here, push with your hands and lift your chest up towards the ceiling so that your shoulders open up. And then curl in for strength, collapsing down towards your sternum, right towards the front of your chest. And then push your chest up towards the ceiling. You're using your hands to do this. And also, there's some extension in your spine. So here, I'm going into spinal flexion, so I'm actually like curling up into a ball. And then as I come up here, I'm extending, I'm going into a curve here and looking up. So it's kind of almost like if you're doing cat-cow in yoga. I'm going into a rounded back, and then I'm curling my back. I'm tilting my pelvis. You can do whatever feels good for you though. If that feels bad here, then you might want to try this a different way. Plant your feet and use your glutes to help you get up. Push your hands, use your legs, and come up into a tabletop. That's going to take that rounded spine out of the equation. It also gives you a little bit more resistance. So you might notice that you feel a little bit more in your chest, in your shoulders, and your hands even. And you just go up and down. This stretch should be all right here in the front of your shoulders. And if that doesn't feel good, it's okay to just skip it. Sometimes when I need to problem solve this stretch, it's a really funny thing. My skin stretches and it makes me itch, like through my elbows. So I know that I need to do some problem solving on that stretch. The stretch itself feels good, but the actual skin stretching is a little itchy. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's work on the back of our shoulders now. So you're going to take your right arm and bring it across your body. Grab your wrist with your left hand and resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. Push up for strength. Keep pushing up with your right hand and use your left hand to pull you back down. When you get to the bottom, bring your head over to the left, your forehead forward, and then look up to the right a little bit. See if you can get a little bit of stretch in your neck. And then up for strength and pull down for your stretch. Bring your head to the left and find your neck stretch. Up for strength and down for stretch. You should feel it here along the right side of your neck and your shoulder, maybe down into your shoulder here. It's kind of a good one. So you just go back and forth. Find that stretch in your neck on the right and up and down. Good job. Now let's do the other arm. So bring your left arm in, grab your wrist with your right hand, resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart diagonally. Push up for your strength training and pull down for your stretch. And as you pull down, you're going to bring your head this time to the right. Lean your head forward and then look up to the left a little bit. See if you can catch that stretch in your neck. And then you just go back and forth, up for strength and down for stretch. Up for strength and down for stretch. Find that stretch in your left neck and the left side of your shoulder. Up for strength and down for stretch. Let's do one more after this. Keep resisting between your wrist and your hand. Push all the way up and down. Here's your stretch. Make jazz hands with your fingers. Maybe even wiggle your fingers a little bit. That gets you a deeper stretch. And you should feel that right here on the outside of your shoulders. Oh, so good. Okay, so now we're going to backtrack a little bit. Let's stretch out the back of our shoulders. So grab your right elbow with your left hand, and you're going to resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. Push open for strength, and then close it for stretch. And if you want a little deeper stretch on this one, feel free to go into that grapevine arm stretch. I'll help you get into it after we've warmed up a few like this. So now your right arm up, your left hand goes underneath. Bring your right thumb, wait a second, bring your left thumb to your nose and grab your right thumb with your left hand, and you're gonna push up for strength and down for stretch. I think I said that wrong. You grab your left thumb with your right hand. They're all backwards. And up and down. Remember, as long as your palms space out, you should be able to find this stretch. So good. Okay, you should definitely feel that on your right shoulder. You might also feel it on the left, but it usually wraps a lot around your right shoulder. Now let's take our left arm. Bring that one up, grab the outside of your elbow with your right hand, and try to push both arms apart. Do a couple of those back and forth, open for strength, and close it for stretch. So just go back and forth. Open for strength, and close for stretch. And a little bit of warm up before we go into grapevine arms. So now if you want to try grapevine arms, you can. If you couldn't do it before, maybe you want to try it again and see if it works. Now that we've closed some things here, I don't want to say closed. We've opened up some muscles in a way that now they are permitting you to be able to fold in. And that's a lot of times the problem with this one is that you can't actually fold your arms up. So take your left arm up like you're pulling a train whistle. Take your right hand and swing it around. Bring your right thumb towards your nose. Take your left hand and wrap it around so that you can grab your thumb of your left hand with your right fingers. And then try to squeeze your elbows together so you're trying to pull them apart. And you lift up and down. Up and down. You should feel the stretch on your left shoulder the most, maybe a little bit on the right also. But pay attention. Again, see where you feel the most alive. See where you have all of this energy. See if you can paint this stretch in a really beautiful way along the back of your shoulders, the back of your arms. See if you can find it a little bit better. How can you make this stretch even feel better? What if you go in a circle? What if you bring your fingers forward towards the camera? So what if you go this way? Right? Play around with it. Of course, only do what feels good because you don't want to hurt yourself, right? If it feels bad, it's not a good sign. So make sure that you feel really good in every single stretch. It's so important. Okay, now we're gonna go into our push-up. Just make sure nobody's trying to get a hold of me. We're good. And by anybody getting a hold of me, I mean you guys. All right, go into a plank position and very slowly drop down to the floor and then up for strength. So here's your stretch. You should feel this along the front of your shoulders. Pay attention to where you feel that. See if you can find some life in your lungs here, right in the front of your chest. We'll aim for 5. Whew, one more. Oh boy. Good work, my friends. Oh, that's such a tough one. All right, it looks like it's 10 o'clock, so we're gonna stop there. But make sure you check your subscription folder for Life Renovations today. I believe today's the diet challenge, yeah. So make sure you check that, it's a quick video. If you didn't watch yesterday's meditation, I would also watch that. Make sure that you've done the guided journaling, it's really good this week. And it'll help you to really stay present at this time. So check that out. If you have not subscribed, click that little arrow in the corner. Make sure that you click the bell icon too to get notifications for when I'm doing things. I try to put all kinds of stuff up on the Instagram and the Facebook and that sort of thing, but you know, they don't always get shown. I think because Facebook, you know, they have these weird algorithms. So make sure that you're clicking on that to make sure that you get all the notifications, okay? That information is down in the description below. And then remember, friends, if you are able to contribute to my channel while my studio is closed down and I'm making zero money, feel free to go to my PayPal link below and make a contribution for class. You do not have to. I'm not asking as a give me money because I give you this thing. I'm just saying, you know, during this time, if you have the ability, feel free to do it, okay? All right, friends, I will see you later. Tomorrow class is at 11 a.m. Saturday morning, we have class at 9 a.m. Okay? See you later. Bye-bye.